Hi guys, I'm going to be doing another story time here, and it's about how my ex ruined my pregnancy. I'm going to start off from the beginning. Okay, so I got pregnant about 4 or 5 months into our relationship. I had previously, and I'm talking about like in my teens, decided that I never wanted to have kids and I never wanted to get married because of my narcissistic mother. She ruined that view for me, as well as I didn't want to take the chance of treating my child or my husband the way she treated me and my father. Even though she broke up with my father before I was born, she just treated him really bad. For basically my entire life, as far as I know, she's still treating him bad. So anyway, I am pro-choice. My ex is pro-life. And I wanted to make my choice. I wanted to have an abortion. Please don't think less of me. I was 24 years old. We were in no position to be having a child. We were living in his parents' mold-infested basement. And we didn't have the money because he spends it like water. And basically everything that we ended up getting for our daughter was paid for by my father. My father, thankfully, he called it grandfather support. I thought it was cute. So he basically was giving me like $200 a week for months just so that I can get carriages and stock up on diapers. Now he handed this money to me, so I directly spent it on baby stuff. Had I ever put it in my account, or well, our account, it would have been gone. So anyway, since he's a narcissist, he convinced me to keep her, which if I had a time machine, I wouldn't change things for the world. I love my daughter more than anything, and I wouldn't change it at all. I would keep her, and I'm glad that, you know, he, I guess, manipulated me into having her. But I don't think I would feel the same if I had gotten an abortion. If I did get one, and, you know, I was 33 years old like I am now, I'll look back and be like, you know, I'm glad I didn't do it because of how my mother is, and it would have gave me a chance to leave him sooner, you know? But at the same time, best choice was actually having her, even though it ended up not being my choice. Now, okay, so I have my notes here, reminding me of things. Okay. So, the other thing is he refused to get his license. Now, before I met him, he told me he had a license and he had a car. He had neither. He had a learner's permit, and his car was his mother's car. And when he got his license, she was going to let him drive it. But I guess it was going to be a shared car until he got his own. Or no, she got another one. That's what it was. But that car ended up crapping the bed anyway and was parked out back for a long time. I ended up having to drive him to work. He worked, like, I guess it's overnights, but the hours started at like, I think 3 a.m. and it was unloading trucks in stocking, so he could like get out of work anywhere from like 9 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There was no set time that they got out. They just got out whenever they were done. So not only was I waking up at like 2:30 in the morning to take him to work, but when I got home and I finally got to sleep or whatever, I was waking up not too much longer later to go get him. And then I didn't really get to take a nap after that because he was home and he was making noises, playing video games. And I would have to get ready, and then I would have to go to work because I worked in the afternoons. And then I also worked long hours on the weekends. On the weekends, I worked for my dad's friend who owns a boat livery and tackle shop. And he would literally pay me $200 a day to just sit there on the chair and run the register, rent out boats, get bait for customers, help customers out, stuff like that. And my dad would always be there too. And my dad, since I was pregnant, my dad would be the boat guy. So he would go and get the boats and the life jackets and the oars and everything. Or like all the appropriate equipment, because there was no way I could drag these boats out for these people. So anyway, so I was working more than my, well, not really more, I'd say, well, maybe a little bit more than my ex. But I literally got no sleep because I was his taxi driver. So not only that, but there was places he wanted to go, things he wanted to do, and I had to drive him there. Thankfully, at some point, his mom started working there. I think it was after our daughter's born, maybe just before. So he started sometimes getting rides with her if they worked on the same day, but it really didn't help that much. He actually refused to get a license until our daughter was like a year old. And that was after I forced him to. It was hell trying to make him get his license because I just got sick and tired of me working, me taking care of the baby, me doing 100% of the housework, me enduring his constant anger issues and rage issues, driving him everywhere. I was about to snap because I couldn't get any sleep at all. So the other one is he always complained at doctor's visits. He hated waiting. He was a very impatient person. He's a person who acts on impulse and wants things instant. He always has to have that instant gratification. One time I had to have, I think it was a stress test where they strap this thing on your belly and it records like the baby's heartbeat, I think. And I was fine with it. I had to lay there. They said it was like a 15-minute test. And then after 15 minutes, she came in, like he had been sitting there complaining everything about having to be there for freaking 15 minutes. And it was stressing me out. And I'm pretty sure if I'm stressed out, the baby's stressed out. So she looked at it. She didn't say anything other than, I don't think this is reading correctly or something like that. Let's have you on it for another 15. So after she left, he is sitting there freaking whisper yelling and he's angry. And I'm telling him, stop. Just stop. I said, you're stressing me out. I'm pregnant. Just stop arguing. You know, he wasn't fighting with me. This is what he says. He says he wasn't fighting with me or yelling at me. He was upset about the fact that we had to be in there so long. And At one point, the doctor, nurse, or whatever she was, she did kind of forget about us. It took longer than 15 minutes for her to come back. I think it took like 25. So I think we were there for more than 45 minutes, maybe an hour almost, but at least 45 minutes. But he was stressing me so bad, I started crying, begging him to stop because I'm pregnant, and he's stressing me out, and I couldn't take it anymore. I told him that I was gonna have them come take him and make him leave because I wasn't having it. And so that right there, what he did in that office was so uncalled for, and I think that a lot of the stress he brought me through my pregnancy, I think it might have had some effect on her in the womb. Okay, so his thing is he always likes fighting, wasting money. It's like he felt that he could do whatever he wanted to do when he wanted to do it, and I had to be at his beck and call to drive him because he refused to get his license, and his mother told me that he was my problem now. So that meant I had to be his babysitter and take him everywhere. And it upsets me that he wasn't independent at all, other than working a little bit. So any time that he was able to go out and do something without me having to drive him there, I freaking loved it because I needed him gone because he stressed me out. Okay, here is one of the worst. Besides the doctor's appointment. I think these two, the doctor's appointment's the second, but this is the first. This is the number one thing that really killed me during my pregnancy is I ended up getting gestational diabetes. I gained 90 pounds and I had to see a nutritionist. Let me tell you, drinking those Gatorade type drinks that they give you was so nasty. Oh my God. It was so gross. It tasted like liquid sugar with a little nasty flavor to it, I guess. Anyway, so the nutritionist, they gave me this little device where I prick my finger in these little test strips, and I had to test my sugar levels, and I had to record them. I also had to record what food I ate, every single meal, everything I ate throughout the day, even water, had to be written down on my list. So the nutritionist told me like what I had to eat, and I had to eat under a certain amount of something. I guess I had to count, I think, carbs or sugars. I don't remember. It was so long ago what I had to count, but I had to keep it under a certain amount. So then my ex became Mr. Food Police. He literally controlled every single thing that passed my lips. Now, I willingly stopped on my own drinking soda while I was pregnant because of caffeine. I already didn't drink coffee, I didn't smoke, never drank alcohol, didn't take any drugs. So, I stopped drinking soda. And I started drinking like non-caffeine stuff. I think I just drank not Gatorade, ginger ale. That's it, ginger ale. So I'd have like 1 or 2 ginger ales a day to kind of substitute for missing the bubbles of Pepsi and Dr. Pepper. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, everything I ate during the day, he controlled what I ate, how much of it I ate, when I ate, and I had to mark everything down. And I was constantly crying that I was hungry because it just wasn't enough food. I mean, even without being pregnant, it didn't feel like it was enough food. It was less than I was eating beforehand. And he would always say, oh, well, you know what the doctor said. So he made himself in control of that. And let me tell you, he loved it because he took that control to a new high. Because he would make me feel like I was hurting our child if I ate anything more. I mean, even one time when I dropped him off at work, I decided, screw him. And I went through the McDonald's drive-thru at night and I just tried to get me some damn fries because I was craving them so hard. And they ended up, even though they were 24-hour, they said that they were closed on the mic. I don't know what they were closed for. There was no sign. They were in there. But I was so disappointed. And when you're pregnant and you're craving something and you can't get it, it's just like World War III in your head. You just break down, you get emotional. Pregnancy hormones are no joke. So with the hormones, that also leads into intimacy. Now with intimacy, when a woman is pregnant, there comes a time where she wants to be intimate and it's like crazy. Like I already had a high drive beforehand, but the hormones just made it so much worse. Now, if he had been intimate at all, it would have been nice. But he was not intimate at all during our pregnancy. He refused. And I would beg him for it. But he had no problem at all with me performing other acts that did nothing for me. So he got what he wanted, but he didn't feel like ever reciprocating at all. And that's what narcissists do. They're incredibly selfish and they like to control and they like to make you miserable. With the gestational diabetes and food control, what ended up happening with that is we went to my nutritionist and gave her the list of everything, and I stood up for myself. I straight up told her, this is all the food that he's allowing me to eat. And I told her that I always felt hungry, but he wouldn't let me do it. She straight up told him that he was close to starving me and that what he was doing was hurting the baby, not helping the baby. The fact is that when women are pregnant and they crave certain things or they feel like they're really needing food, it's because it's the baby is sending a signal, hey, give me food, or whatever. I'm not really sure how she explained it all, but she was pretty upset with him. So I kind of felt vindicated that I kind of stood up for myself, and this nutritionist kind of stood up for me. Another thing is on Christmas, unfortunately, I had the flu. It was real bad. But he made me go upstairs to his parents and celebrate anyway. And I'm sitting there on the couch, like with my head back tilting and going like this. I am passing out, feeling sick. And at no point is anybody saying, you need to go to the hospital? You know, I look like I'm dead and I'm sitting there freaking pregnant and he doesn't care. And then also, we had to drive about 45 minutes up to my mother's to celebrate too. Guess who had to drive? The one with the flu. Even though he had his permit, I really didn't feel comfortable with him driving in the snow anyway. So I think I might have been the one that told him he wasn't driving, because when he drives, things tend to go wrong, like him backing up into things. which he's done with every vehicle we've ever had. So I had to go up there and celebrate with the flu. I just felt dead, but I guess he wanted his presence or something. I don't know. I really didn't want to go. But that's like a double whammy because of also my narcissistic mother. If I didn't go, I would have heard it from her. It didn't help me being pregnant and having 2 narcissists in my life, controlling everything. I felt like a toddler. Like I had no control. Also during my pregnancy is when I found out he was cheating on me with his webcam hose. We shared a laptop. I also had my desktop computer, but we also shared the laptop. Now, I'm very into computers. I know how to, I know a lot of software stuff, not much hardware. I can pretty much replace screens. That's to the extent of my knowledge in the hardware department. But, so I was constantly running maintenance on the laptop. And I would often go through the history too and look through our history. And this is when I found his, the websites that he was going to where you can have live webcam sex. Now, I had only found 2 on different days. But that also is where I found out how addicted to porn he was. Porn, constantly, every freaking day. But that's another thing. We'll talk about that another day, about his porn addiction. But yeah, so I think I confronted him on it, and he said, it doesn't count as cheating because he didn't know that it was cheating. I'm sorry, but I don't buy that bull. If you do anything at all with someone else, it doesn't matter if it's over the computer, every single thing you do that you think that you have to hide is considered cheating. Stupid me. I really wish I had not been pregnant at that time so I could have just left. But I was upset, and I had went up to his mom, like upstairs to his mom, and talked to her in the kitchen and told her that I had caught my ex cheating on me with webcam hose. And she didn't really have anything to say about it. She looked like she didn't care. So I went back downstairs to my basement and just dealt with life, I guess. And this was not the last time that he had his webcam hose. Throughout our whole marriage, I would actually go into his computer and run maintenance because he's dumb. He doesn't do it. After he gets a laptop, it becomes a frickin' paperweight within weeks. I had bought a very expensive Toshiba laptop for gaming. And I had had that for almost 2 years. And when I gave it to him, it was still running like it was brand new. Within 2 weeks, that thing was paperweight. Couldn't really do anything with it. I tried to fix it, but it was so far gone, I don't know what he did. But then when I really looked into it, it was because he was downloading porn constantly. And it doesn't matter where he was downloading it from. Or, well, he didn't care where he was downloading it from because it killed the computer. He had to go get a new computer constantly, and he would get mad when I say he couldn't. And finally, I got him an external hard drive, and I said, download all your freaking crap onto here, not onto the computer. That way, the computer is so good, and he could just fry up the external hard drive. So anyway, with all this, plus tons of more stuff, he just made my pregnancy miserable. You know, for me, it wasn't a memorable pregnancy. And neither was like the first couple years of her life, because he just made me so miserable, and I was depressed all the time, constantly having to work, take care of a baby, take care of the house 100%, drive him everywhere. And then when he finally did get his license, I had started working somewhere else. I started working taking care of elderly people, and sometimes I would do overnights. So I always took my daughter with me because he needed time to himself. Basically, the house would be, well, our apartment would be completely clean. And then I would take my daughter with me to work, come home. He's sitting there playing video games, and the place is a disaster area. And, you know, I'm like, you're sitting here for all these hours, and all you did was play video games and mess up the house. And here I am upset that I can't go to sleep because I'm the one that gets up in the middle of the night and takes care of our daughter. Not him. He got up only a couple times. And each time he made sure that I knew how upset he was that he had to get up in the middle of the night from his sleep to go take care of our daughter. He didn't say words. He would just go, and whenever I heard him make that noise, that was a sign of something is about to blow up. A sign of him letting me know that he hates me. Or he hates the situation and he wants me to take care of it. He is still a man-child. He still doesn't take care of his kid. He let go of her 7 months ago. Here she is about to be 9 in 2 months. It does a lot of psychological damage to a child when your child is 8 years old and that's the age you decide to abandon her. If he abandoned her when she was like 3 or 4, wouldn't have made a difference. But the fact that he has abandoned her at the age of 8, it's doing I can tell she gets sad sometimes when she talks about him. Sorry, I'm like getting upset because it's just reminding me all the things that is going on. That she reminds me about her missing him, or like her wishing he gave her something for a holiday, or wish he called. He's just a deadbeat, and he'll never be anything but a deadbeat because he's not a man. A real man wants something to do with the child that he forced his woman to have. It's like, why are you making babies if you're not gonna frickin' take care of them? He thinks that just because he sends some child support that he's taking care of her. I'm sorry, I'm getting more and more into something that I shouldn't be getting into yet. I can make another video for. So anyway, that's just a little snippet into my life about what a horrible pregnancy I had. And this has made me 100% for a fact decide never, ever to have children again. I have that birth control Mirena. I'm on my 2nd one. And it works awesome. I love it. So I can't have any more kids. Woohoo! But I absolutely love the one kid that I have. She's actually asleep right now in the other room. So I'm trying to not be like too loud. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my story about my horrible pregnancy and how my narcissistic ex ruined it. Have a good one.